to raise this evening is regarding the service of former Lieutenant Colonel David Brown and other Vietnam veterans in relation to their eligibility for the Army Combat Badge. Mr Brown is the former head of corps of the Australian Army Public Relations Service and served in two 12-month tours of Vietnam alongside frontline personnel. Mr Brown believes he and others are eligible for the Army Combat Badge due to the nature of their service in Vietnam, and he has sought to have their important contributions recognised. Unfortunately, the Department of Defence appears to have rejected the reconsideration despite evidence of the veterans' experiences. For example, a fellow corps member, Peter Thomas, served in Vietnam in '68 and '69, covering everything from motor vehicle workshops to some pretty grim operations. In Pete Thomas's words, "We would fly in on helicopters, we would spend 3, 4, 5 or 6 days with an element of one of the battalions or the tanks or the armoured personnel carriers. We'd get our stories and our photos and we'd fly back to base to dispatch all that material." Mr Thomas said there was often only a single day's rest in Nui Dat before they were sent to the next operation. More recent conflicts have better recognised the contribution of PR personnel, with members with similar service in Afghanistan and Iraq appropriately receiving recognition of their service with the Army Combat Badge, yet those who served in Vietnam have not. Deputy Speaker, moreover, as the first member for Bean, a seat named after Australia's first war correspondent, I support their request for recognition for the PR Corps with the award of the Army Combat Badge. The irony, of course, is that much of the evidence that backs Mr Brown's claims resides in the records at the Australian War Memorial, an institution Charles Bean fought to establish. It's important that the combat service of those reporting from the front line are recognised, as well as those fighting on the front line. It's important to do so with some urgency. The ranks of those that are left are thinning. I urge the government to reconsider this request and for this injustice to be redressed.